All right, welcome back to the Full Subjects podcast, starting our Agent Expert series. And we have the one and only Ty Corsi joining us for our first episode, first recording in this series. So thank you so much for joining us, Ty. How are you?
Guys, doing great. Thank Austin. Thanks, Cole. This is looking forward to this. We had some technical difficulties, but we made it. We made it in.
This is why we're
Let's have a
realtors
chat.
and not IT people.
Man, I'm still working on MS-DOS, so I'm still here. Still here.
Ty's
But
trying
we're
to
in,
figure-
guys. We're in. Yeah. What's happening? Let's have a chat.
Sweet. So this series, obviously, typically we're doing other podcast topics, but we wanted to focus this month, obviously, on, I think we can all agree it's a challenging market. We wanted to have some agent that we consider experts on to talk about, what they're doing in this challenging market. And then also like a step further from that, picturing people first day in the industry, the things that they would be doing to get themselves rolling. But let's start super generic here. Ty, tell us a little bit about yourself, what exactly you're doing, how long you've been doing it. We can kind of go from there. So take it away.
This is really all I know other than this and working in a Canadian Tire warehouse when I was 16. I've been doing this since I've been 19 years old. So right out of high school, got my real estate license, jumped into it when listing contracts were actually one page. You would press hard on that page and you give 4 carbon copies to your client and to the office. That's all I know. So this is coming up on my 24th year of real estate. We were selling detached homes when they were $199 on a 9,000 square foot lot in Newtons. So it's come a long way, $199 to $1.2 million. So an extra zero. So it's been a long time. I've rode through a couple of markets. This is my third, we would call it down market. 2008 was a big one, if you guys remember. And then into 2018, and then now into this market. So it's kind of 3 different shifts, and we all come out stronger than ever. So just hang on tight.
And, from that, why real estate? How'd you end up in real estate?
Dad. Yeah, it's obviously my dad. So I grew up with him building Victorian homes. So if you cruise around Queen's Park in New Westminster, almost every single Victorian home around Queen's Park, my dad had built. And
Wow.
I would be there cleaning up all the scraps. I'd be in the yard guy cleaning up, and I would learn how construction was. And he worked really close with his builder, and the two of them, Tony would build the house and Dad would sell the house. And I just love that end product. And when the sold sign went in the ground, I thought it was such the cool part of the business. Building houses was rough and trades were hard to handle, but selling real estate, I was addicted to it at a very early age. And as soon as I could get my license, I did. I would actually work alongside Dad for the first 2 years. So when I was 17, I would be with Dad, but I couldn't be licensed till I was 19. So it's all I ever know. And into my 24th year, Dad just officially retired 5 weeks ago. So pretty emotional thing. Yeah. So he hung it up after 43 years of business.
Just a couple of years. I don't think I've ever asked you this either, but how did he get into it?
He got into it because, it's a funny story. So my dad owned 2 gas stations in New Westminster. So born and raised in New West, and he'd work the gas stations and you'd come out, remember full service, and they would clean your windows and everything like that, check your oil, clean your windows. So my dad would always be there, and this guy would pull up, and his name is Grant, and he would pull up in this convertible Mercedes, and he would always be with his friend in there. He's well dressed, and sometimes he'd have his girlfriend in there, and he'd asked what he did, and Grant said, I'm a real estate agent. And my dad would always be, covered in oil, sweating. And he always remembered that. And he said, I got to give this a try. Like, obviously looking at this guy, he looked successful. Grant probably sold like 2 houses a year, but still it was the image that my dad fell in love with. And because of that convertible Mercedes, my dad got his real estate license and off he went. 2 years after that, he owned his own brokerage called Lakeview Realty in Burnaby. So owned his own brokerage, Lakeview Realty. It was Block Brothers before that in the 70s. And then it was Lakeview Realty. And then my dad opened up what's called Valley Pacific Realty. We had that for 22 years, of which him, Diane, who's still with me, started that company. And then we shut Valley Pacific down 5 years ago. So just before COVID, 2019. Our managing broker retired, and I didn't want to be a managing broker. So we decided to hang it up and head on over to our next venture. So that's kind of the story of what it is. So my dad, all he knows is real estate, and it's pretty much all I know as well, other than a Canadian Tire shift in a warehouse. That's what I did.
think
I got a question here. How many years until he bought his first Mercedes?
It was a gold Honda Accord, man, like 1984, giant cell phone antenna out the back. And I remember I would reach for it and I'd make a call and it would be $2 a call. And he'd be like, hurry up. Because the second it rounds through the first 60 seconds, it's another 2 minutes.
Right.
And that's how we were selling real estate, because we really had his car phone, no cell phones, and giant pagers. And I thought I was like the man looking down at my hip. I'd be like, yeah, I'd look down at it and then, I'd have to rip to a payphone, and it was so ghetto. So listing contracts were one page. All it had was name, commission, and on the bottom of it was a section for house dimensions, like rooms. And there was nothing about write-ups or nothing. Like there was zero. Like you really just at the bottom would have to squeeze in a little write-up. And then a sales contract was also one page because there was no agency forms, because dual agency was completely illegal. It was illegal at the time.
Yeah.
And we would sell 50% of our houses every year would be dual agency. So
Wow.
what I did is I worked in an area called Panorama Ridge, and I would get listings, and then when somebody would call me, they'd look for the similar product, and I'd keep a giant list and a handwritten list. And I should show you one time. I have all those books from when I started. I handwrote everything, no Google Cal, but everything was in there. And I'd have 50 buyers, and every time I got a listing, I would call all 50 buyers first before I brought it to market to see if anybody wanted to buy it. Like that's how it was, because dual agency was totally allowed. I still find it weird today that it was allowed for so long, because ideally
Mhm.
you're conflict of interest, right? You're trying to work
Yeah.
for your seller and you're working with a buyer and you're trying to bring two people together. Dual agency was a real fun time because Dad and I would get a listing and we knew we had 10 buyers for it. One time we wrote 9 dual agency offers. So there's 9 offers on the house, and all 9 offers we wrote.
Oh my
Is
gosh.
that wild?
How
It's
does that
wild.
even make sense?
So
Yeah.
so we'd sit down with them and we just tell them that's write your best offer. We can't disclose anything. And then we go to the next guy's house, and none of these were by email. They were all in person. It took Dad and I 3 days to write them all. And then
Right.
we brought all 9 offers to the seller, and all of them were our own client essentially. And we had to
Wow.
go with one of them. Luckily, the one that won was way above the rest, so it was
Yeah.
fine. But can you imagine if it was like 1,000 or 2,000 above the second place? It's so obvious, right? So when they eliminated dual agency, it was a really good thing.
Yeah.
Really good thing.
Well, it's funny like casually when you say that, you're like, oh, great news. One of them was way above the rest. But again, like what you hinted at is how do you have the sellers and the buyer's best interest in mind in the transaction when you're like, oh yeah, thank God one was way higher, right?
Yeah, because one thing that you had to do with dual agency is you had to disclose to the other parties that you had dual agency offers, right? So essentially, I'm telling 8 other people, hey, Cole, there's 8 other offers that I've written. Just letting you know, right? You're going to be like, what the hell? And like part of you wouldn't want to get a realtor because you'd want to work with me thinking that you're getting another in. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, we're doing our best for our clients and being very cautious. And, knock on wood, we avoided any kind of litigation or any issues because we did it properly. But when you look back, it was wild. And remember, guys, there was 0 cell phones for my first 3 years of business. So we had no cell phone cameras. Our cell phones that we had, the flips, but they had no cameras on them. And so it was good that you didn't get caught doing anything. If you're being an idiot, when you're going out, you're hungover and you come back to work. For me, a prime example was I was in an open house in Panorama Ridge, and I'll never forget this. I'm in the open house, it's piss ass raining, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh man, it's vacant. Nobody's going to come into this. And I sit next to the fireplace and I fall asleep. There's no furniture. I fall asleep and I'm out cold and I wake up. It's 4:10 p.m. So 10 minutes after close. And there are 7 realtor business cards on the kitchen island, meaning I slept through the whole open house and 7 people minimum came through that house. It could have been more, but 7 people came through that open house and I slept through the whole thing. You imagine if you did that today, you would be blasted everywhere. But on
Yeah.
back then we didn't have anything, right? And there was such a small community of realtors. We got down to 1850, I think it was 1,850 realtors. So everybody knew everybody, and it was kind of a very tight group. Now it's like over 5,000, right? So man, I remember that back then. It's always a funny story when I think about it, like sleeping through an entire open house. Yeah,
sometimes,
wild.
sometimes you just need a nap.
I mean, I needed a nap. Yeah, I was doing no deal. I needed to like dream up a deal. Yeah.
To go back to something that you had mentioned before when your pops had gotten into the business, he saw somebody with the Mercedes, the convertible, thought it was cool. I think it's pretty common that people think, oh, it's just real estate. Like that's easy. You can just go be a realtor. But I think one thing that we know, and maybe some of the agents in the business right now are realizing that this is a tough business. What are the things that if you were starting over again, day one, Ty, what would you be implementing in your business? Like what would be the foundation for, you getting yourself off the ground?
I mean, there's 2 things, right? YouTube was around 20 years ago. So if I had to start over, I would do long form video content. I would have start that, because when you look back, your ad spend back then would have been peanuts. Like it would have
Yeah.
been 10 cents on the dollar, right? And even Facebook, when I started advertising, I remember $1 spend on Facebook got me 17 cents of ad spend when I started
Wow.
Facebook ads. So it was 5 to 1. It's crazy how much it used to be. Some 2026 goal next year is long form video content, 8 minutes or longer videos, tons of them, educating. And it's interesting. I did like my first real video last week and I got 105 subscribers. So it's like, okay, I see the potential of where this could go, starting with 100 subscribers. So I would start again doing YouTube long form video content because it's free. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Flyers cost you a fortune. Buses cost you a fortune. Stick with the content. That's what I would do. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I would educate people. Yeah.
Yeah, I think really well put. It's a great plug as we're sitting here doing long form content. So thank you for
Yeah.
that. We appreciate it. I think what I also think about, obviously I know you because we're in the same office, and before I was in the same office, obviously you're really big on social media. You have a really, really big online presence. But what I don't think I realized about you is how much you focus on everything outside of just the business. So your health, your wellness, your habits, all that kind of stuff. So can you talk about the things that you're also focusing on other than when you're in the office? Because I think that's so important.
Well, yeah. Oh my gosh. I've had two massive burnouts in my career. I'm seeing massive burnouts. I mean, if you look back to where things used to be when we didn't have touch bases, I would carry around in my back pocket 20 listing information, the seller, the address, the lot size, the description of the house. And I would get people calling me, setting up showings, and I'd have to remember these things. There was no Google Cal. It was madness. So I had two massive burnouts. I couldn't sleep at night, like fully, should I get out of the business or not? And should I just go work? Like I look at people that work at Costco and I'm like, that is the best. Pushing around something, loading the shelves, done it for, like, I look at that and think, man, that would be nice not to be able to come home and, think about the business a lot. So for me, those massive burnouts have happened and I've got through them. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with this answer, man. Where what's the question?
Just health and wellness.
Well, health and wellness. Yeah. So important to me. 6 days a week, I train in the morning, 6 a.m. Okay. So I box, I CrossFit, and I strength train. So I rotate those, right? Boxing's good just to kind of get out the craziness. CrossFit 3 days a week to really work the full body. And then I strength train with Zion, who's Nairi's husband. And we strength train that. So, at my age, guys, at 42, I'm not looking to join any magazines and look huge. I'm looking to just be able to move my body and also feel great in the mind. And like working out or just being active and moving is awesome. Every night I do my grateful walk. So I put my phone down and then I do a 20-minute walk where I just kind of it's called my grateful walk. I just walk through the neighborhood and just disconnect. And I feel like it's something that everybody should do. So yeah, I eat well, I meal prep everything. I probably go out for lunch once a month. And yeah, I think I just stick with that routine and I wake up every morning. I write down I am successful 3 times on a piece of paper. It's just something that I've done every single day for the last 24 years.
Wow, that's incredible. I think the thing that jumped out to me the most was you managed to only go to lunch once a month as somebody in your position. Don't you get invited to lunches like every day, basically?
Yeah, but I'd rather just go for a shake or a coffee or tea.
Right.
Like I just I'll have my lunch because I'm pretty disciplined with that, and then I think it's through the years of like, man, it was 2008 when the economy like literally dropped, right? You guys are probably 5 years old, but the economy like dropped out of the sky and I didn't do a deal for 10 and a half months. And when you're trying to do this business and you don't get paid for 10 and a half months, you make adjustments in your life, whether that's cutting back on costs. And for me, it was like always packing a lunch. It was just like a small thing that I did. And I never got outside of that. Like I always wanted to pack my lunch. I felt like it'd save a ton of money. And I bet you if you look on a cost, I'm probably saving hundreds a month, maybe $1,000.
For sure. Absolutely.
And I eat, well, I just chicken and rice for days. Like, it's easy stuff, bachelor stuff. But yeah, that's kind of what I've always done. And I've always stick with is that rule, right?
Let me ask you one more. Sorry, Austin. Let me ask you one more thing. The grateful walk, where did that come from? Is that something that you developed or did you learn that from somebody else?
Yeah, so there's like 2 people that I've learned that from. A guy that I used to be really good friends with. He's kind of moved away to Australia, and my other buddy Jeremy Pugh, he's also done something like that where he sort of takes a grateful walk time. We take Fridays as CEO days as well, where we take half a day and sort of work on the business. And it's sort of 2 things that I stuck with that I love to implement. So Friday CEO days and a grateful walk at night. Yeah, just
Amazing.
20 minutes. Honestly, just move your body and just put your phone down. Or if you have your phone, you're listening to a podcast or something, just keep it in your pocket and don't need to message anybody. Just sort of walk around and just like be super grateful for what's around you. You're able to move your legs, fresh air at night. You had a great day. Tomorrow's going to be better. And yeah, that's how I think.
I think you hinted on something really interesting there. And I was going to joke about when you were talking about bringing your own lunches, Dave Ramsey, Corsi joining us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not quite that good, but yeah.
Yeah. One of the things you touched on there is, you work on the business. And I think this is something that we talk quite a bit about, is working on the business and in the business, right? Like, I think that it's very easy to feel busy. It is very different to feel productive and actually get things accomplished. So for somebody like yourself that has a team and is doing, a ton of transactions or home sales in a year, helping lots of buyers, lots of sellers, what does working on the business look like for you? And then what would you consider working in the business? And if you can go a step forward, can you define or describe those for yourself?
For me, I still like to plan my 23 touches a year. So, I call it like I'm the GOAT in touches, 23, Michael Jordan. I have my 23 touches. I have my 12 e-newsletters, my 4 seasonal hard copy newsletters, Father's Day reach out, Mother's Day reach out, yearly evaluation, summer event, fall event, winter event, and a food bank shredding event. So like that would be 23 reasons where I would work on the business to sort of plan the year for the team. My team helps me work in the business on a day-to-day basis, where I haven't done a touch base in 3 years. Like, I haven't done an actual response to a showing in 3 years. Like, it's kind of like freed my mind up a bit. But then again, when they help me with that, we're able to scale on a larger, we're able to handle more transactions. So I like to work on the business daily where I do something. That's where the Fridays come in. That's where I get to plan those 23 things throughout the year. And my clients just really never forget me, right? They're seeing me every month, at least twice. And not to mention the social media touches, which is massive. But that's sort of what I like to do. I work on the more bigger things. The team helped me work on the day-to-day things, whether that's, I haven't done a Facebook page, Ty Corsi Group Facebook page post in 5 years. Like Nairi runs the whole Facebook page. She runs all of any leads that we get. She posts every single listing, every price reduction, every video, and she's on it like that, right? And for that, she's obviously compensated to help out that side, right? Christian does all the showings. He runs all the group chats. We have a thing where, when a group chat's going, I'm the last one to respond. Everybody should be able to help that seller out or buyer out and answer those questions. And if they can't, they'll ping me and I'll chime in. But that's kind of how we run the business, right? It's very, very structured, where we have 30 listings at any time. Everybody's helped with instantly. And we have sort of a thing where, this listing is Christian's a lead. This listing, Julie's a lead. This listing, Nairi's a lead. And that's how we work it. Yeah. So when I get out of this podcast and I can see my phone flicking and there's chats going, every single thing probably will be answered. Yeah. Every single question will be answered. And that's how a real estate business should run, where you have these awesome team members. And I feel like the secret sauce for any realtor, if you're wondering, should I get huge? Nope. I think it's 3 to 4 team members max. And I think 100 families helped a year is your max. Anything over that, you disconnect from all those transactions because it's too many. And you disconnect from your team members because there's too many people, right? So I feel like that secret sauce is a good admin, 2 or 3 good helpers, and that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. If you want to create a super team, and I did a podcast last week with a guy in Calgary, he does 500 to 600 transactions a year. He has 38 team members, and hearing him speak made me want to quit the business. He knew every transaction. He did every addendum. He talked to every seller, and I'm like, that to me, it doesn't interest me. He wakes up with 30 emails of people complaining, team members that are complaining. And it's I don't want that. That sounds terrible. So
that's like running a mini brokerage at that point.
Yeah. And at what point is the net the same? Do you know what I mean? I bet you his expenses are ginormous on 500 transactions, where you could scale it back to 100 and lose 80% of those people. And you're probably netting the same or more. That's the secret, right? How much are you actually keeping? Exactly.
Well, and I think what you hinted at there too is obviously you're at a point where you have all of those members and you kind of have people with different roles within your business. What about like, for that newer agent that maybe has a little bit of wind in their sails, they're doing some volume in the year. At what point do you think it would be good for them to actually start hiring somebody, whether that's an assistant, whether that's another agent? Like, give the advice to the person that's maybe 5 to 8 years in the business, if that's the person listening.
Yeah, I'd say 5 to 8 years. That's an absolutely great question. 5 to 8 years. And the secret sauce again would be about 20 transactions. When you hit 2 a month, it starts to get to the point where you're running around, right? 25 transactions a year. You're really sort of running around quite a bit. You're prepping all that paperwork. For you, the best thing to do for those people would be to start with a part-time admin, right? So that's going to be a person that you pay per day, 2 to 3 days a week, or per hour, 2 to 3 days a week. And they're going to work when you need them to work. The second that you need them a little bit more, they're going to get onto more of a 4-day a week. The second you need them a little bit more, they're going to go more to a full-time position, right? You're going to compensate them by paying not only hourly or salary, but you're going to pay them as well by every single deal. You compensate them with a bonus. For example, every deal that you do, if you pay your admin $350 extra, $500 extra, how much of a incentive would that be for that person to cheer you on and make it happen, right? So, and that's something that I've done with Diane. She's been with me for all 24 years. And every transaction that I do, she's compensated with a bonus. And the reason for that is just everybody feels like it's a win. It's not really sort of like, oh, another one for Ty. It's like everybody wins.
Yeah.
And like, if you give up a little more piece of the pie to make everybody happy, how much like of a good team, like atmosphere is it going to be? Right. And then that's sort of what I believe in. So yeah, 25 deals, hire somebody part-time, 30 deals, hire somebody full-time. That's kind of the number. I think you can handle anything under 20 yourself. I think 2 to 3 a month, it starts to get to the point where you need somebody.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. For you, obviously, you've talked a little bit about your journey. You've had some highs, some stressful times as well, some lows. Like, what do you do to better yourself? Obviously, you talked about health and fitness, but are you a big podcast person? Are you a big like book reader? Like, talk a little bit about that of how you've kind of honed and learned your skills to get where you are now.
My mind is like, it's like this. It goes, my mind goes wild. Like the mouse is on the wheel and it's just like flying. And for me to sit down and read a book, I'm like, I open it up. I'm like, this is great. I need to get going. Like, I don't have I'm not a book guy. I'm a huge coaching guy. Like I coach a lot of realtors behind the scenes. I'm on conversations with a ton of realtors across the country. It's always something that I've loved to do. I love to help people. I have the same realtors that have followed me for 15 years on Instagram. Probably 25% of my following is realtors. Like at least 20,000 people are realtors. So, helping realtors get to where they need to be is like, it's my calling. Like it is what I love to do. And, when people message me back and I just give them maybe how to do proper farming techniques, and they message me back a year later and say, Ty, I got 9 things off flyers. Like that to me is just like a feeling of just crazy accomplishment, right? So that's what I ultimately love to do. I love to help people on the side. Big time. Love it. It's my thing. It's where you're going to see things go with me in the next year or two. And I've been filming with Jeremy Pugh we've recorded already 35 to 40 hours of content, and we're only done 2 modules of my course, which has 8 modules. So it's going to be a massive real estate course. Yeah. So that's what I've done.
What's the, are you comfortable sharing kind of what's in the works for you with that? Or do you want to keep that top secret for now? Like, it'll be everything to make a realtor be a successful realtor and sell 100 houses a year. Like this is how you do it. This is how you do your marketing. This is how you do your scripts. This is how you do your follow-up. This is how you do your flyer campaigns. This is how you run ads. This is how you run your social media. Like we're talking everything from the second you get up, the second you come home, things you need to do to make your real estate business the best. And so I feel like I've done okay. I know how to do the business, and I feel like I can show people how to do that. And I'm totally happy sharing every single secret, because you know what they say, right? How many people are going to buy the book, buy the course, and actually implement it? 1. So I think it's like 0.08% is like its actual stat. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. That's what I love to do. Chasing somebody down for keys and lock boxes and turning off lights gets old. So, we want to try to do something different, and that is sort of what I want to do. Yeah. So with that, so obviously you'll still have the team and actually selling real estate, but then you'll take a little bit of a route with the course. But I guess if it's virtual, then maybe it's something that can be going on in the background, right?
Yeah, everything's virtual. Part of it will be, some one-on-ones, some group stuff. That might be just a little extra of it, but other than that, it's all virtual. So my buddy runs and builds courses. That's what he does. Like, it's just really plug and play. I give him the videos, he plugs it all in. Yeah, I have the setup for it. I have the people to help me do it. Why not do it? But I've realized in filming it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much I want to talk about. And we just finished yesterday video. We have 4 videos per module, and like each video is 30 to 40 minutes. And it's like, I've recorded 8 of those already. And I'm like, oh man, I feel like this could be a course in itself, like just these first 8. But I don't know if I'm going to go to 8. That's like 36 to 40 videos. So I might break it in half. But yeah, we just got through the whole sort of mindset, client events, scripts, and lead gen sections, which are like my thing. I love it. And so yeah, it's really good. Like a planned sort of write up that I planned, and I've also sort of added in my own little things, which worked for me. So
Speaking of coaching, have you ever done coaching? And if you did you find it valuable? I ask this as a question because I feel like you're pretty self-motivated where, like you said, mouse on the wheel, go, go, go. Like you obviously have that drive and that motivation and discipline to go do stuff. But what's your
yeah,
experience with coaching?
I've never done one coaching call. I've never done one, not one. Now I've done I've done a call, but I haven't done any paid coaching ever. I've just sort of self-taught, right? I think I came from like zero, like we're talking like photocopies at Staples. Like that's how I started real estate. So like I've really sort of seen what works over the 20 years. And so for me, I've never hired a coach. Do I need a coach for YouTube? Yes. I'm hiring somebody for December 1st. So I'm hiring a YouTube coach. Like that's because I don't know, right? I don't know what works, how you do it. So, but other than that, no coaching, just solely self-motivated, like crazy motivated. Like I'm talking, I still sometimes can't sleep because I'm so excited for the next day. Like that's how motivated I am. I just like love the business. I think because I'm at the point in my business right now where some sellers, I sit at their table and they are so excited that I'm at their table. How cool is that, right? I signed my evaluation the other day that I did. The lady was so pumped that she had sold by tie, and she's followed me for 10 years. She's like, "Can you?" I'm like, that's like flattering. That is so.
Yeah.
It's like Clayton Townhouse. Like that is like that's to me is so flattering by that, right? And she's like, I can't believe you're taking our listing on. I'm like, what? This is the best ever. How can you not feel like that makes your business like, isn't that the best? Somebody is excited to pay you to list their townhouse. That's like a dream of people. And I finally got there. I finally got to the point where people are like so grateful for me to be in their door. But it's taken a long time, right? It's taken a long time. And I'm finally at the point where I'm like, oh, it's all paid off. And I have clients that are I just had a client sell their 7th house in 20 years. They've sold 7 houses with me. That's moving up from a 1-bedroom condo all the way up to an acreage, like 7 transactions for one person. That is a 20-year career, right?
That's the biggest compliment you can get.
Just that bang, 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 bang. And yeah, like it never gets old. I was just like, I was sitting at the table with the lady. She's like, "Can I give you a hug?" I'm like, "Sure. Let's hug. Let's list your house." Like to me, that's that would be it for me. I feel like I've done it with responses like that, and I'm just like super grateful for it.
Well, and it's funny too to contrast that. Tell the story that you told me in the office maybe a month ago about the shortest listing appointment you've ever been to.
Oh, well, there's lots of those these days. There's lots of those because we do type forms, right? So like I basically get 99% of your information before I even go in your house. I know what your expectations are. I know if you're interviewing other realtors. I know if you're thinking of selling now. And so if I know these things and you tell me your townhouse is worth 950 and it's 779, where it's gonna be a real quick conversation, right? So that's why I think if you're a realtor and doing something like a type form or Google Sheet to gather some information prior to going there is going to set you up for major success, and it's going to set you up for not wasting a lot of your time. If Cole wants $1 million for his townhouse and I'm going to walk in his door and tell him 750, we're not going to beat around the bush. Like we're going to bring it up right out of the gates.
Yeah.
I'm going to say to you, Cole, what's with the million? And you're going to say, hey man, like, my neighbor did 2021. I'm like, nope. That's too bad, man. In the last 3.5 years, it's changed dramatically. And I notice in your type form, it says that you want to rebuy a detached house. And you're going to say, yeah. And I say, Cole, those are down 500 grand. That's the difference, is that you're buying back into equity even more. Townhouse down 250, houses down 500. You're actually up 200 grand. And then you can make that happen, right? And then it's like, Cole, let me show you. I'm going to show you 5 sales of detached houses that just happened in Langley, because you want to buy in Langley because your type form said Langley. Look at this. All of these sold for 100 grand under asking. And Cole's going to be like, holy shit. Okay, yeah, this to me makes sense. Whereas before, if I would have come in your house and I didn't know you wanted $1 million and you told me $1 million at the table, I would have just put my shoes on and just left like instantly, right? Because how am I going to convince you? You know, I kind of like, and the conversation I had with that gentleman recently where he actually wanted 950 and it was worth 750. Like, how much time am I going to spend in his townhouse? It was fast. It was like, I didn't even leave the entryway. I was like, hey, I remember the guy like, Brian, do you still want 950 for this? He's like, yeah. I'm like, not me, you know, kind of thing. Like, good luck. And he's kind of like, why not? Like, I want you to be the guy. I'm like, it's not there, man. Like, you need to get realistic with it. Give it a try and call me when it expires. And he's kind of like, what do you mean by that? I'm like, it's gonna expire. And people appreciate that brutal honesty. And I think he's kind of looking, he sent me 2 follow-up emails. He's like, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I'm like, yeah, Brian, I am right. I showed
Trust
you the
me, I know.
So yeah, if you're a realtor and you're gaining this information prior to getting a listing, you're going to just totally nail it. You're going to get it if you're brutally honest with people and show them the other side of it, right? Find out where they're going and you watch your business just like tenfold explode.
Well, I think what's interesting there is you've kind of hinted at, you know, you're kind of at the point, I don't want to say that you can pick who you work with, but it's kind of is. And what I mean by that as well is you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of my pitches when I sit down for an evaluation is, first of all, if they're ready to go, you're signing the listing right now. Okay. No thinking about it. None of that stuff. When somebody says, we're going to let you know, no, I'm your guy. I'm going to sell your townhouse. I'm the best guy for the job. We're not ready for 3 weeks. No problem. We're just going to post date this listing for a month. Sign it right now. Let's date it for a month, right? Like, get it signed up. Plan an attack, get it going, right? So, and yeah, that's just something that I've always done with people. Like, if they're thinking about it, if they're maybe thinking about it, like, I got all the paperwork, let's do it right now. And that's worked really well for me, for sure.
That's incredible. Austin, we got a couple more minutes here. I don't want to keep by too long. There's one question
I got 15 minutes.
You got some time? Okay, let's go with this one. So what's one big mistake that you see other business owners make? Like, it doesn't have to be anything in particular, but just one that maybe you've come across recently.
Yeah, I would say, man, for business owners, yeah, they probably go all in on one thing. You know, they go all in on one thing and they don't do, you know, at least 18 months of it. Right.
Okay.
Like, if you look back at the stats on anything, whether it's flyering, whether it's social media ads, whether it's content video, if you don't do it for a year and a half minimum, you're going to fail. Like, you're going to fail. Right. So with flyers, it used to be the rule of 5. Now with flyers, it's the rule of 10. So in case you're wondering what that is, for flyers, the first 7 flyers get thrown in the garbage, 8 gets noticed, 9 gets a call, 10 gets an appointment. Like, that's how long it takes before you can actually get noticed. So I think businesses go all in on one thing. They don't spread themselves around a little bit. They go all in and they don't do it for long enough. Like, try to find a realtor that does consistent content year after year after year. Like, it's just, they come and go, right? Like, you can name like 5 people. So don't you want to be the person that sits down at a table, whether you're a mortgage broker, whether you're a realtor, and somebody sees, we see you everywhere all the time, year after year, right? So that's all you need to do. So just 18 months minimum.
Okay. So consistency is the big thing there. Is just deciding to do
everything.
something. Yeah. Continuing to do it. Austin, do you have a question you want to follow up on?
Yeah, I think obviously you've just hinted at the things you kind of need to do to be successful. Why do you feel, obviously our industry is known for some turnover. One of the things I asked earlier was, what would you be telling the 5 to 8 year realtor? Because a lot of times people don't make it past that 4th year. Why do you think people aren't able to make it successful in this business? I don't want to say the word, why do people fail, but why do you think that people try this out and then it doesn't stick?
I mean, they come off too salesy, too desperate. People can smell it. I don't think you're like as authentic as what you should be. I think that with me, a lot of people talk behind the scenes. You know, they talk badly about people, they talk badly about me, but when they meet me and talk to me and other realtors, they realize like what you see is who I am. And that's a great thing about video, is you cannot fake video all the time. Like, it is who you are. If you're going to do video, if you're posting 20 stories a day, you are who you are. right? So for a new realtor, you know, things like that, you just want to be like authentic as you can, and people will see that for sure, right? Like it's in a very emotional, video's emotional. It just compels this feeling for people. And so when people see you, that's something that you can be. So be like super authentic. Yeah. The turnover is high. It's like, it's probably, you're barely making 3 years nowadays. You're barely making three. So like create a crazy brand. Your brand is everything, no matter what brokerage you're with. Your brand is everything, right? Create the best brand there is. Be the most professional, polished brand ever. Be careful how you carry yourself. Dress up, you know, look good, present yourself well. Like these are all things that people appreciate. And, you know, there's a big part of the market where you can be an ex-wrestler and use your wrestling things and be goofy about it. Like that's fine. But when you look at what's happening over the next 3 to 5 years, the majority of baby boomers that are going to be moving, and those are people 65 to 80, are old school. They appreciate people that carry themselves well, act professional, right? There's a massive part of the market that's moving in the next 3 to 5 years that you can take advantage of. And those are old school people that like it to the point, no BS. And so just keep that in mind. If you're a realtor, you can take advantage of that.
Very well
Yeah,
said.
very well put. One other question I have for you when you're talking about brand, I guess it would be your slogan or something that I see on a lot of your marketing is world-class marketing. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Everything?
the best business card. It's the best flyer. It's the best video content. It's consistent ads. It's everything. World-class marketing would be never giving up on a listing, going all in, being number one on the clicks and analytics, like spending money because I'm saying I'm going to spend money, not just throwing it on MLS. There's more than that. There's a reason, Austin, why your house is on the market with me and why we're the number one most viewed for the 6th week in a row. Like that to me is world-class marketing, showing sellers that the market is tough, but you're number one on clicks in all of Clayton. To me, that's world-class marketing. You are number one at the top. You can't force a buyer to write an offer. What you can do is expose the house. And that's like everything, right? So my business card's $2. Like it's thick, it's triple foiled, it's hand painted black edges. Like it's an impression that you give somebody and they'll remember it forever. Even though business cards, some people say no, they like to tap and all that stuff. Nope. I'm like super old school. I love the business card. It's something that I just pride myself on.
Yeah, I think very well put. One thing that we're doing for our Agent Expert series as we kind of wrap up here is we're getting the previous guest to leave one question for the next guest to ask on the next show. So you're the first, so we don't have any stumper questions for you, but what
is one question that you would leave to the next guest? We're not going to tell you who the next guest is, but just something that you'd like to know, or just like kind of a fun question that we can throw the next guest.
Okay. I would say, I mean, if it's real estate, it could be any business, but I think for somebody, if you were to look back and ask them a question, it would be like, what makes you, you know, passionate about the business you're in? Like, are you just in it because other people want to do it? Or like, what makes you really passionate about it? What lights a fire under you? You
Okay,
know,
I
and
like
that would be
that.
like a question that I would love for people to answer.
Awesome. I'm now excited to hear the answer to that for their next guest. So that's great.
Yeah. I don't want people to do it just because their friend did it. I want you to know, like, why are you actually super passionate about it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. You got that?
yes, I did. I cut out there.
Yeah.
Incredible timing as anyway, the tech issues. We Oreo'd our
We almost made
podcast
it. We almost made
Did
it.
you buy the
I
what
did
happened,
not.
man?
I can assure you, we spent a lot of money on this.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
saw the little troubleshooting thing and being like, make sure you have an internet connection. I'm like, I'm in my office. Nobody else is here. There should be no reason I don't. And I got
Well,
kicked.
we made it. Did you hear that answer? Did you hear the question?
Yes, I did. Yeah, we are
Cool.
all good there. Well, Ty, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. This was amazing. Where
Thanks,
can people
boys.
find you? Where can people check you out?
At Sold by Ty Corsi Group, tycorsi.com. There you go. You got it.
Thanks so much, Ty.
Cool, guys. Appreciate you guys. Keep doing your
Yeah.
thing.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
Take care.